So, as I said before, one thing I want to make it clear is that target individual, most of our torments and tactics that we've been tormented are very systematic. Now, there's nothing new. It's funny. I had my torment, my perps, I should call the contracted trash, and this program. What they deploy on me, to torment me is basically very systematic. I've ended up finding out that many others have experienced a lot of what I'm experiencing. They do things to frustrate you, but the frustration minimized when you know that other have experienced this type of torment, this kind of stress and frustration. And so, for example, I want to always bring that up because I just I realized that you never know when those days are going to come, and you will not be able to speak speak about what's happening to you. So I'm speaking now as much as I can, knowing that those days will come where I couldn't speak a word, and I understand that they do things to me, to my body, to my throat, to my brain, to make me handicapped. And so one thing they've done just 2 seconds ago, they changed something in you end up having I live in isolation, right, in the sense that I'm by myself, and they do things where you end up kind of speaking out loud to your handlers. Well, I won't call them, to your perps, to the perps who are supposed to stress you out and frustrate you and disturb you with all kind of tactics. And so one thing they know they've done, and they've done to others, and I'm going to give you a snippet on why I feel validated in regard of what is happening to me is done systematically to others, even to women, a lot of women actually, is because they did this thing where they changed or tried to change it. Really, they did a translation in a different language that can change the meaning, right? And so when I'm trying to say something to tell them, I know what you guys are going to do, you're going to turn things in something else, right? They changed that word turn into a different language, where turn meaning basically shifting into another subject, or in a sense that it's the subject is shifting to is like a true thing. But the reality is like you're going to shift into the nastiness that your version of things you've changed into. They like to do this thing where they bring up a real moment that is accurate, and then just to rail you in, to bring you in, and then go into something they manipulate it into something else. One thing they did here is, for example, and please forgive me, like I said, I want to be clear, I am far from perfect. I know my imperfections. I know I'm never gonna stand there and play the saint. I'm not perfect. And they were bringing up a moment when I was late 20s. Me and my friend went to a strip club, okay, and brought me a moment during me and him going to the strip club. This is true. That moment was very true. But you understand, they're trying to paint me as a pedophile. And so that story is not good for them, because this just proved the opposite of what they try to paint me as. So then they go into me and the same friend watching this documentary. And I remember watching this documentary with my friend. And let me just repeat that. This is not my friend. This is kind of what they try to force me to say. And you can say forced speech is also what they do, and they control a lot of what I'm saying, which is frustrating too at the same time. But you got to be able to catch that. It's not really my friend. He was actually a perp, but he was also somebody that I lived with. We're both co-workers, working in the same company, and we were living together for financial reasons. We're not really friends, but we did things together. For example, we went to the strip club together. And for example, we watched TV together. So once I was watching TV with him and watching this very interesting documentary about it was on HBO. It was about this kid and her life in New York. This little girl, very smart, very sharp, very charming, and it was a great documentary. Now, I could never watch this documentary now because I'll be forced to experience disgusting things. But it was a great documentary, very charming, very endearing. And I remember watching it. It was a great show. Now, they've changed the version of this moment to add the nasty pedophilia stimulations and sensations with narrations. Try to say that, oh, now you've looked at it. And, mind you, they were saying, oh, your roommate at the time, who was also a perp, actually, and now it makes sense why he was acting a certain way. He was looking at you because he noticed that the way you're looking at this documentary was like whatever BS story. They try to create their stories, right? When in reality, this was an amazing documentary. This little girl was super charming, super smart. It was so sad. It was not sad, but it was such an endearing documentary, showing how this kid was just navigating through the city as a kid. Of course, you understand they tried to change things into something else. And this roommate at the time, who was also a perp, I just realized now I know why he was acting this way, was watching it with me. And they're like, oh, you see how he was looking at you and he was looking at that's because of that's. Like, okay, first of all, whatever way he was looking at me, I know he was a perp. And second of all, I know the reality of what I was experiencing. So if you want to change it into something else, go ahead, but I'm not going to subscribe to it. And of course, they change it into the pedophilia things they do. Now, what they're doing is they changed what I was, because they started making me think of me going to the strip club with this guy, right? This is real. What I experienced there is real. Nothing is manipulated in the sense that I went there, I enjoyed myself, and that was something that's a real moment that they don't manipulate. But what they were trying to do is to bring up the moments where they manipulated this moment into something pedophilia centric, giving me perceptions that are different, stimulations that are different, and all of that nastiness with their narrations and adding this guy in. It's like he was looking at you and this BS stuff. In reality, they do this pedophilia type of torture. They force you to experience these nasty things, and so they want to create things where they can be like, oh no, you experienced that then too, when it is falsified. Now, as I was saying, oh, I know why you're making me think of the time me and my roommate, I guess, went to the strip club. You're trying to bring up the moment that you manipulate into pedophilia. But when I said that, I said, oh, you're just trying to turn back to this. Oh, you're talking about turning back to the pedophilia things you do. It's like, what? No, they try to just frustrate me to say by twisting a little bit of the wordage. Right, and you hear the noise campaign. They're all trying to, there's noise campaign. I live by the highway, so they try to they're honking. They're doing everything possible to get you to accept these things. It's all part of the system. But this is not the first time they do that. They've done it many times. They change like a little word to change the meaning of something else. Let me show you what I'm saying. Okay, listen to this testimony from this woman called Mayfair. She literally experienced a lot of the things I'm talking about. Matter of fact, they even do the pedophilia type of torture, disgusting things, plus the rapes, of course. But they also do these things where they frustrate her by doing things and manipulating her wordage to mean something else, and so they can frustrate her and distress her.
When I speak to my handlers, they change the meanings of single words I say, causing the whole sentence to mean something completely different of what I want to say. This causes me great distress, frustration, and anger.
This is a testimony of Mary Fair in 2007. You understand how consistent, systematic these people are. They do things in this systematic, manipulative way to make you subscribe to these disgusting ways of perceiving things. They're nasty, they're low life, and they're trash. And they want you to subscribe to these pedophilia manipulations. And people around you are all supposed to get you to subscribe to this. It's nasty, but that's what they do.